Hello everyone, this is Malik Khwaja from Think Higher Consultants, and we are live here for our live session for student visas and how to get to Australia on a student visa, what courses to choose, what is the whole admission process. From admission process till you get the visa, we're gonna guide you everything. Also, we're gonna give you some brief introduction about how to fast track your processing by going through the agents like us, and also we're going to talk about something about the lifestyle in Australia. So when you're going to come here, like what sort of conditions you need to make. So before we actually start our topic, I think we should wait for our audience to join us. And meanwhile, we'll play one ad. So just watch our ad and then we'll be right back once we have more audience. Thank you.
NATI. NATI stands for the National Accreditation Authority for Translators and Interpreters and is responsible for setting and maintaining high national standards for language practitioners in Australia. Contact Think Higher Consultants at thinkhigher.com.au.
Jess talking to her parents on Skype and showing concern that she wants to stay in Australia as she's getting really good opportunity to one of the renowned company. She further said, that I'm in search of a good consultant and I'll apply TR through them.
Okay, goodbye Mom and Dad, I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, take care dear.
Jess opens her email as soon as calls finishes and she sees a newsletter from Think Higher Consultants, which says free temporary visa application if you get professional year program through Think Higher. She calls to Think Higher and discuss her situation with their qualified counselor. They explained her the benefits of professional year as well as offered her free temporary visa application. They also explained the checklist for temporary visa as well. Jess was so satisfied that she submitted all her documents online and got her temporary residency visa and professional year application done. Contact Think Higher Consultants for resident return visa. We provide personalized and on-spot services leads to permanent visa pathways and Australian citizenship. Facebook/Think Higher Consultants. Twitter/Think Higher House. Instagram/Think Higher Consultants.
Admissions. Think Higher Admissions Service helps you secure an admission in an Australian university. Our service is simple, efficient and absolutely free for the student. Simple because we will provide you extensive information about the universities in Australia, and efficient because once the application is filled, you are guaranteed to receive an admission within 8 to 12 weeks. Contact Think Higher Consultants at thinkhigher.com.au.
Welcome back. So as you've seen the ad, so I think we have some audience now live with us. So we should start our session now. So I'm gonna open up my presentation slide. Yep. So as I mentioned you, today's session is for student visa subclass 500. For the first question that comes up in our mind, what is subclass 500? So subclass 500 is a number that is allocated to this visa. So let's say if it's a student visa, it's subclass 500. If it's a temporary resident visa, it's the 485 visa. If it's an immigration visa, like a general skill migration visa, so then that comes up with 189, 190, and 491. So student visa, before, like if you talk about like 4 to 5 years before today, the subclass was supposed to be 572, 573, and so on. But now there is only one subclass, which is subclass 500 for student visas. So let's proceed further with the next slide. Yep. So we'll discuss first what's the eligibility criteria for the student visa. So if you want to come to Australia for study, and then that may lead to the permanent residency option. That is a dream come true for all the applicants who come to Australia. So, but first thing, you need to meet the eligibility requirement in order to come to Australia on a student visa. So number one requirement is that you must be at a certain age. So this is for those people who those kids who wants to take admission in the school. So like VCAL, VCAT, these kind of schools, year 1, year 12, year 11. So for that, you must be age less than 18, okay, in order to get the admission in that one. Also, the good part about the those kids who wants to come here early on a student visa is that there is no English requirement. So they don't have to give any IELTS or PT or any exam to come here on the student visa. If they take admission in schools, no English requirement. So that's good for them if they want to try. For the other visas, like courses in certificate 3, 4, diploma, also the higher education courses such as bachelor's and master's degree, they don't. There is no age limit requirement for that one. So even an 80-year-old can apply for the student visa and come here to study something. Like everybody has their own hobbies and own things that they do. Sometimes they do it earlier in their life. Sometimes they do it later in their life. So that's everyone's choice when they want to study and when they don't want to study. So yeah, moving next. So as I mentioned, the age is one of the sector if you are going for the school like year 11 to 12. Second thing is, obviously, in order to apply for the student visa, you must get an admission in some university or in some colleges. The admission has to be a full-time course. So what does it mean by the full-time course? So you have to study at least 40 hours a week for the course that you're gonna enroll in. And apart from that, you can do anything. You can work 20 hours per week as per your visa condition if it says so. You can also take term breaks during your semesters. So you can also work in there. You can do some internship programs during that if you're not studying. So full-time study coursework is that when your course is in session, you have to study 40 hours per week and also full-time. Now there are some courses that allow you that gives you the opportunity to work to study more. So then it depends on course to course. Minimum, that's the requirement. Third thing that you have to consider since you're currently coming to Australia. So Australia is English language speaking country, although it's also called a multi-language country, but their basic language is English. So you have to meet some certain English language requirements for the visa. So the minimum English language requirement for any course is 5.5 overall bands, no less than 5 bands. So if you have that score, then that's all good. You can apply for the wet level courses. We start from certificate 3, certificate 4, and that leads to diploma and advanced diploma and so on. So that's the English requirement. If you go with the higher education part, some colleges accept and university accepts overall 6 not less than 5.5, some accept 6.5. If you are going to become a teacher, if you want to study something in teaching, then you have to score higher, like seven bands in IELTS or PT or any other relevant alternative English proficiency courses certificates. So that is must to be done, the English language requirement. Fourth thing is, since you're coming to Australia, maybe Sunday or some Sunday you may feel sick or something, so they don't want you to just stay at home and then feel bad about you that you can't, get a cure or you can't go to a doctor or something. So they want you to get an advanced health insurance policy in advance. So that means if your course is for 2 years, then you have to take the health insurance policy for 2 years plus 2 months. If your course is 3 years, the similar way, 3 years plus 2 months, you have to get the health insurance. Also, one key point is that the your visa duration also depends on the health insurance duration. So if you take the health insurance for the maximum duration after course, as I said, 2 years of course plus 2 months, then you're gonna get the visa till that time. Final thing that you need to meet is the health requirement. So people normally get confused between health insurance and the health requirement. So the health insurance is the insurance policy that you buy so that you can go to a GP anytime during the 2 years of your visa. And the health requirement is that you have to go through a medical exam. Sometimes they do chest X-ray and general examination. so that they need to test that you are healthy enough to come to Australia, and then once you complete your study, either you apply for the further visa or either you're going to come back, but they have to check your health requirement as well. This health requirement is normal and it's also applicable to all other countries. So every other country they have this health requirement for their visas. So now that we have discussed the eligibility criteria, so you guys would have now known like what sort of things you would require to be eligible for the student visa. We can move next, but I think we should play one ad and just watch the ad and then we're gonna get back soon. Thank you.
Professional Year Programs. Professional Year Programs are well-structured professional development programs for engineering, accounting, and IT professionals. This also leads you to an additional 5 points towards general skilled migration applications. Contact Think Hire Consultants at thinkhire.com.au.
Welcome back to the session. So we can move next. So we just discussed the eligibility criteria. Now we're going to discuss next slide, what type of student visas are there. So as earlier in the first presentation, first slide, I've mentioned, so they have joined all subclasses and make just one subclass for student visa from VET courses till the higher education. However, for the courses that require the student to come with a guardian, that only have a separate subclass, which is subclass 590. So in that, so I'll discuss each and every type. So offshore/onshore student visa subclass 500. So this is the student visa if you are in Australia on a visitor visa or a 4-5 visa or any other visa, and when you have to apply for a student visa in Australia, that's called an onshore student visa 500. If you are overseas, let's say if you are in India or China or America, in any other country other than Australia, that's called an offshore student visa plus 500. Second category is student visa extension. So as the name suggests, if you are in Australia and your visa is about to expire and somehow you are unable to complete your existing course or you want to study something new, so you apply for the student visa extension for plus 500 in Australia while in Australia. Third thing is dependent student visa. So that visa is for those who came here as a single, got married recently, and then wants to call their spouse on a visa. So we call it dependent student visa for plus 500. Or this is also for those who were already married, came to Australia for a study, and then now feeling alone, and then they want their spouse to join them. That subclass is also for them. Fourth is the Guardian Visa 590. So in this, as I mentioned, the age limit is there. So the kid has to be less than 18 years of age. English requirement is not there. Kid can be accompanied by a guardian. Now the guardian can be in Australia as well. So and also can be offshore. So the guardian could be a parents, their grandparents, their uncle, aunt, anyone in the known relative can be a guardian for the student. So these were the student visa types. Now we'll move to the next slide. Okay, so what's the procedure for the student visa? The very first thing, as a student visa, you're coming here for the studies, then obviously you have to select a course that suits your profile. So let's say if you have done recently an year 12 in medical, so you might go to study nursing or doctorate or something related to medical. If you're done in your intermediate in commerce, then obviously your mind will go towards the business type courses such as Diploma of Business, Bachelor's of Business, Master's of Business Administration, Accounting, um, So these kind of courses you can do if you have done the commerce intermediate. If you have done biology in intermediate, then you can go for zoology, microbiologist, microtechnologist. So there are different kind of stuff. If you have done it in engineering, so engineering also good. You can come here on bachelor's of engineering, masters of engineering, all these kind of stuff. So you have to see what profile you have and then select code accordingly. Now, I will give you one example. Let's say if you have already done your bachelor's in, let's say, engineering, and then now you have decided to study nursing somehow. So in that scenario, first thing you need to make sure you have a passion to do it. Okay. Second thing, you have a reason why you want to switch your course from engineering to nursing. So that those kind of things you have to show to the case officer when you're gonna apply for the visa, and that's gonna be shown in the later stage. I'm gonna talk about what document you require to show your interest for whatever course you're gonna select for yourself. Second, gather all documents. So document checklists also we're gonna discuss on the later slides, but I'm gonna give you the brief. Like normally, what they require is your identity documents, the admission offer or theory that you may have, and then you have to show some financials, your English requirements, as I mentioned you, and the reason why you want to come to Australia. So these are sort of the documents that you need to gather. Obviously, it takes time to gather documents, but Think Higher Consultants is always here to help you guys for the smooth visa process. We help you out with gathering all the documents that you require. We make your profile look good to the colleges, and we're gonna get you the admission and get this process done very smooth and very quickly. Third step, process further for admission and get the series. How you gonna do it? Think Higher Consultants is here to help you out with that one. If you can see on the bottom ticker, you can see our email address, applications@thinkhigher.com.au. So if you have any questions during this seminar, you can send us an email. You can send us your profile. If it suits for some courses, definitely you should apply through us. You can see our phone number and the address there. You can come visit us in Australia as well, or in our overseas office if you may to. Moving next. So process for admission, how it works. So you have to come to us or apply directly to the college. You have to send your basic documents, your interest, what you want to study. They're gonna assess your profile and give you first a conditional offer letter. Okay, the conditional offer letter says that you are, meeting the or some of the requirements. Some of the requirements are not met, such as English. So they're gonna ask you to improve your English and then come back, and then we're gonna, remove that requirement and give you a full offer letter. So once you get a full offer letter, you apply, you pay the fees and get the COE. Now what is COE? COE is called Confirmation of Enrollment. This is the document that is mandatory in order to apply for student visa from overseas. Means if you are in other countries other than Australia, COE is mandatory to apply for the student visa. Now, if you are in Australia and if you want to lodge some visa on urgent basis and you don't have a COE, you can also apply based on the offer letter. So um, that thing has been granted by the Home Affairs for the students who are onshore, that they can apply based on the offer letter and then provide the COE later on. Fourth thing, once you arrange the COE, once you arrange the offer letter, apply for the student visa. That's basically the fourth step for the student visa procedure. In detail, we're going to discuss in the further slides. So moving next. Okay, so document checklist. As I mentioned you earlier, you have to prove your identity. Now, what are the identity documents that comes, like your passport, your birth certificate is also your identity document, your national ID document is your identity document. However, since you are traveling to Australia, passport is the mandatory document that you require. And I think the national ID document, I'll discuss the other ID documents that is mentioned in the point 6 identity documents. So you are required to provide your national ID document to prove that you are the national of that country. Okay. Next thing is educational documents. So whatever you studied in the past, you require the academic transcript. You require completion letters. You require award, or it's also called the degree certificate. So you require those things to prove that you have a certain level of education already, and whatever study you want to take that complements your prior study. Okay. Third thing is Rsopt score or any alternative English exam to meet the English proficiency. As I mentioned you earlier, the minimum requirement for the student visa is overall 5.5, not less than 5 for a wet level courses. And then if you're going to upgrade your course to higher education, then the requirement increase time to time, one by one. Okay. Next thing is work experience documents. So let's say if you have completed your year 12, um, 1st of Jan last year, okay, and then now you think that you want to apply for the student visa now, so that the gap that comes for the last 1 year, you have to prove what you were doing. If you were not studying something, you must be doing something. So the work experience documents comes there and play the part that you have to show the case officer you were not staying idle, you were doing some work, making your career progression, which gonna help you for the further study in Australia. So the documents for work is should be a reference letter from your employer, some of the pay slips that you may have. You can also show your tax returns if you have lodged. So these kind of documents comes in the work experience documents. Fifth thing is your photographs. So obviously they need your passport style photograph that for the processing that is important to identify you. That is actually you. Sixth thing I already mentioned about the identity document. Seventh is valid confirmation of enrollment, also called COE. Okay, this is very important for the offshore students as well as for the onshore students. So COE is also a mandatory document. Now we have mentioned valid words next to the COE. Now why we mention valid? We have seen some students who came to us and then they said we want to apply for the visa next week, and somehow we found out that their existing COE has been cancelled by the institute for some reason, maybe some technical faults, or maybe they haven't paid the fees on time but not aware about it. So in such case scenario, they need to make sure that they produce the valid COE, so they need to talk to the college or get a new admission somewhere, because without the COE, they can't apply for the visa. Okay. For offshore, I'm talking about. For onshore, they also need a valid offer letter. So either COE or offer letter will suffice the need for this requirement. Next is a valid Overseas Student Health Cover, also called OSHC. So you also require a student cover in order to accompany you for the student visa, so that if you get sick um, for the whole duration of the student visa, then you are able to go to the doctor, get yourself a treatment, and then come back and also start your study again. Ninth point, GTE. What is GTE? GTE means Genuine Temporary Entrant Statement. It is also called SOP, in other words. And what is SOP? SOP is Statement of Purpose. In that statement, you show what is your purpose to study in Australia. This is very important if you want to apply for this student visa. Before we go to the next slide and discuss further about the visa fees and the financial requirements, we'll run some ads and then wait for some more audience to join us, and then we'll proceed further.
Myself, Pooja, I have applied my temporary residence with Think Higher. Priyanka ma'am helped us a lot. I referred my two friends Think Higher before this. Like they also got their student visa and temporary residence on the time. Like they are really good. Their service is really very good. I recommend you all to visit once in their office. The staff is very good, and Malik sir is also very helpful, and they always give us good advice. Thank you.
So welcome back to the session. So as you have gone through the ads and one of our dear clients has given us the review about the student visa process that they processed with us, as well as for the 485 visa that they got with us, how smoothly we have done the process. See, we have lots of testimonial and reviews on our Facebook page. I would suggest all of you to go to our Facebook page. You will find all the reviews, latest updates on the student visa as well as the migration visa. So do check out our Facebook page. So yes, moving to the next slide. Financials. Financials is the financial requirement that you need to meet for the student visa. So how much funds you need to show for to come to Australia to show the case officer that you have enough funds to support your study, enough funds for you to stay in Australia without any worries. If you find a job or not, if you have that much money, you don't have to worry about anything. Just come here, study, make your career progression, then find a job, and then obviously you want to succeed in life. So the financial capacity requirement is a very basic, simple calculation formula. Number first thing is tuition fee. So you have to show at least 1 year of tuition fee. How are you going to calculate it? So let's say if your course is of 3 years of bachelor's, then you have to show at least 1 year of the study. If your course is master's of 2 years, same calculation, 1 year tuition fee study. If your course is of 1 year only, same calculation, 1 year of tuition fee. If your course is of 6 months, obviously just 6 months of tuition fee you have to show in that scenario. So 1 year of tuition fee plus travel expense. So travel expense can be calculated per person. So if the person is offshore, so if we are talking about offshore candidates, then 2,200 per person. If the person is onshore, then somewhere around 1,000 to 1,500 can be shown as a travel expense. That's the minimum you have to show. So there is a difference between offshore and onshore, so you have to calculate accordingly. Third thing is, that's also very important, a living expense. So as you can see on the bottom, you can see the student or the guardian, they have to show per year $21,041. That's what the financial capacity that you need to show for a student or a guardian. For the partner or the spouse or the dependent above 18 years, the amount will be 7,362. If you have a child less than 18 years old, then per each child you have to show 3,152. So you have to calculate it that way. 1 year of tuition fee, travel expenses for all the applicants included in the applications. Main applicant, which is a student, 21,041. And if you have a dependent or spouse, you can add that amount in there and then calculate accordingly. Now the question comes, how to show that much amount? Okay, who can show that much amount? So the student himself or itself can show the amount in their own bank account if they used to work in some organization, have some savings. The student's parents can also show the amount. Their relatives, first birth relatives, their uncle, aunt, cousins, first cousins, they can also show the amount. So it has to be either the applicant or the applicant parents or immediate family or their um, near relatives. They can also show the financial documents. So what kind of documents you need to show? Number one thing is you have to show a sponsor ID. What is sponsor ID? It could be a passport or a national ID card of that country. You can show the relationship evidence with that sponsor. Let's say if the sponsor is your spouse, you can show a marriage certificate. If the sponsor is your parent, you can show a birth certificate to show the relationship. If the sponsor is your uncle or aunt, then you have to show as well as your birth certificate, as well as you have to show your family tree that how you are related to that person. Also, third thing is how you're going to show the amount. You have to show either a bank statement or a salary certificate or a fixed deposit or a bank balance letter from your banking affiliate to show that the person has the enough amount in the recent past 1 month before you apply for the visa. The amount should be in the account, so it should not go below the amount that you are showing. If it goes below the amount, then obviously you won't be meeting the requirements. So you need to make sure the balance stays the same until you get the visa. And then once you get the visa, you can pay the tuition fees or your financial expense from that amount, and then continue your study in Australia. Um, Another document that you would require from your sponsor would be the affidavit. So the affidavit is a witness and is a declaration document that you do it if you're offshore on the stamp paper, or if you are in Australia, it will be on the statutory declaration. The sponsor has to mention their name, applicant's name, what are their relationship with them, and how much amount they are showing. And they will abide by the law that they're going to keep this amount for the student for the whole student visa duration. For the school age dependents, obviously they have to show some amount like 8,296 to show that they can also, enroll in the school and then complete their study together with the main applicant. So that's also the important. If you have a school age dependents, such as those children who are above 5 years of age, in Australia, the student age is 5 years. Okay. Furthermore, now since you have shown the balance in your account, you have to show how you got that balance. So you have to show the income source documents that includes your business document where you're working, either your property documents, sale property document if you have sold some property and got those money and showing it, your land document if you're getting a rent from the land, or you're getting some income from the land, rental documents if you have some property that you have lended to someone on rent, you are getting the rent from there, you can show source of income through that. Anything else you can show, anything else other than that you can also show as an income support. Yeah, so financial requirements are done. We're going to move to the next slide. So visa fees. So at the moment the visa fees is $630 for the main applicant and $470 for the additional applicant above 18 years of age, $155 for the applicant who is under 18, and there is a surcharge on the payment if you pay through bank cards, either it's a MasterCard or Visa card. 1.40 surcharge is applicable on all the visa fees, including student visa or any other visas. Okay, so this is important. Also, if you want to check out, let's say, as I mentioned, as I'm going to clear you this thing, that every year Australian government either increase a little amount of visa fees, and it's increased every 1st of July every year. So in order to keep up to date with the visa fees, make sure you check out the tool Visa Fee Estimator on the Home Affairs website to calculate your total expense for the visa fees. Yep, we can move next. Okay, so GT, this is also very important document. However, before we proceed with the GT requirement, how to make this statement, we also going to run the ad so that we can get more audience, because this is an interesting part that I would like the audience to join us as much as they can, because this thing gonna make their case strong and get them the proper student visa. So yeah, let's run the ad.
Are you a recent engineering graduate and dreaming to get an experience of working, living, and studying in Australia for up to 18 months? We are here to assist you in fulfilling your wish. We will guide you with your skilled recognized graduate visa, subclass 476, process.
Contact Think Higher Consultants at thinkhigher.com.au.
Student visa. Is it your dream to study abroad, especially in Australia? Don't worry, we are here to assist you and guide you with your study visa process. Being MARA-approved professional education visa consultants, we ensure you with maximum support and supervision.
Contact Think Higher Consultants at thinkhigher.com.au. Admissions. Think Higher Admissions Service helps you secure an admission in an Australian university. Our service is simple, efficient and absolutely free for the student. Simple because we will provide you extensive information about the universities in Australia, and efficient because once the application is filled, you are guaranteed to receive an admission within 8 to 12 weeks. Contact Think Higher Consultants at thinkhigher.
Mr. Hamid is an engineer who has recently graduated from one of the engineering university under Washington Accord. After successful completion of his studies, he was looking for opportunities that gave him job-ready experience and career pathway. One of his friends advised that Australia are looking for fresh international graduates with good English, offering them work visa that allows them to work and study in Australia. Mr. Hamid consulted Think Higher Consultants without wasting any time. Think Higher Consultants provided him hassle-free and high-quality processing services. He got his 476 work visa in few months. Hamid landed to Australia and found a good job. He also studied professional year program in Australia through Think Higher Consultants and got his permanent residency in no time. Contact Think Higher Consultants for 476 engineering graduate work visa. He provided personalized and on-spot services, leads to permanent visa pathways and Australian citizenship. Web, www.thinkhigher.com.au. Facebook, Think Higher Consultants. Twitter, Think Higher AUS. Instagram, Think Higher Consultants.
Thanks for waiting and watching the ads. Now we have the important topic, GTE, also known as Genuine Temporary Entrance Statement, or a Statement of Purpose in other words. Now, what are the GTE requirements? What you need to mention in the GTE? Coming right up here. Academic background. So obviously, first you have to introduce yourself, who you are, from where you came from, what study you have done already in the past, and then later on you're going to build your case and then tell them what you want to study. So in the academic diagram, you're going to mention from this school you have studied year 10, from this university you can have studied year 12, in medical background or engineering background or in commerce background. So you have to mention that thing. You also have to mention the month and the year, so that the case officer know that you are continuously studying and there are no gaps in between. If there are any gaps, then you must be doing some small certificate courses to cover up that gap. So that's also very important. The third point is circumstances in your home country or country of residence. So how you gonna assess this thing? So you're gonna assess this thing by showing yourself as like your position in that country. Are you employed somewhere? Are you just studying? How long you been in that country? Let's say if you are in Australia for last 10 years on the student visa, and then you will apply for the student visa again. So that's gonna give little bit to the case officer a chance to see more deep into it, the why he wants to extend his visa again and again, and why he's applying for the new student visa. Why not he go back to his country and then whatever he studied, he get the employment there, do the employment, and if required, then come back to Australia on that one. So these are the circumstances that they also consider. Also, they also see that what's happening in your country. So if you are coming from some country where there are some issues with the terrorism, or if the economy is not going good in that country, there are some crime rates to the high level. So immigration also have the history of that country. So you need to make sure that you show a very good financial background as well as the academic and employment background without any gaps, in order for you to come from that country with higher risk level to Australia smoothly. So you need to make sure that you are aware about the fact about your country where you're living. Okay. Um, Fourth point is potential circumstances in Australia and compare it with other countries. So in here you have to show the employment perspective. Like if you complete this course, what are the employment scenario here? Why you are completing this course in Australia and not going to other countries for the study? What is the value of the study that you're gonna do in Australia other than going to other country like USA and UK and stuff? What do you see the difference in the cost of the tuition fee in the courses that are offered in Australia and the courses that are offered in other countries? So you have to see these kind of things and then also mention in your GP statement in order to prove that thing. Fifth point is reasons for choosing that particular education provider. Okay, so this is also very important. In Australia, we have lots of colleges, lots of institutes, lots of big universities offering some courses. So first, you need to make up a mind about which course you want to select. Then you want to check which universities and institutes and colleges are offering that course. And there is another thing called assessment level of that college. You have to keep an eye when taking the admission in colleges and university. You have to keep an eye which assessment level the college is under. If the college is in the assessment level one, that means the college or university is very big. The college has a reputation, and the risk level for getting the refusal on the visa is very low if you go with a good university. So see, you have heard about the university. So you can also see in Australia the college. Some college have the higher assessment level than some university. Okay, so it's not just like the all the universities will be good. No, you have to keep an eye on that thing. How are you gonna check it? Think High Consultants is here to help you out with that one. So if you come to us with your profile, we're gonna see your profile, suggest you the best colleges for your student visa process, so that it can be smooth and easy for you to communicate with us as well. So you have to choose the education provider by considering these points. Sixth is value of the course to the applicant's future. Okay, so this is also important. Obviously, if you have selected a course, there must be a value of that course to your future. If you're going to get its employment in that course in later on, so you have to show that if you complete, let's say, if you have completed certificate 3 in commercial cookery, okay, obviously the course is relevant to the hospitality industry that leads to you become a chef or a cook. So you have to show the if you complete this course and become a chef, how what would be the wages, annual salary you're gonna get in different countries, including Australia and back in your home country. So you have to show your future perspective as well. Like once you complete the course, what you're gonna do, how much you're gonna earn, um, the investment that you're doing for to do this course, is it enough for you to get a secure a job, and then can you get a return of investment? Whatever you spend on the course, will you get return on the investment while working in the field? So you have to show your research as well while making the GT statement on that one. Financial arrangement and family ties. So as we calculated in the previous slide, the financial capacity, and we have also discussed who can show you the financial capacity. So it could be your parents, yourself, your uncle and aunts. So that is also an important part. Family ties means if you have a brother and sister in Australia, so that's gonna give you a case officer an idea that see if his brother is here, he might gonna stay here and maybe go for the permanent residence and stuff later on. But at the same time, it is also good to have someone in Australia. So you have to mention these things in your statement, like having a brother or a sister or a family in Australia. They're gonna help you out for the financial and accommodation requirements, so that you will be having enough time. No need to worry about any financials. Just focus on your study. Go back to any other country, including your own country, home country, for the future job and career perspective. So that's also important. The immigration also sees that if your spouse is accompanying you or not, if you have some good background in your country, your family background, they also see those things as well. Eighth point is student visa condition under subclass 500. So there are quite few conditions in the student visa subclass 500, such as working hours. So in a normal student visa, you are, if you're studying bachelor's or master's, you are allowed to work minimum 20 hours per week and 40 hours fortnight. And if you are doing a master's by research course, you are allowed to work full time. You are doing PhD, you can work full time. If you are doing wet level courses, same 20 hours per week. However, if you are coming with your dependent, your spouse, so if you are coming on the master's level course, your spouse can work full time while you study and work for 20 hours per week on your student visa. Um, so this is one of the important conditions for your working hours. Second condition is that you must maintain your enrollment. So let's say if you come here on a course called Masters by Research, and then after 6 months you decided either you want to change this course to diploma or certificate course, you can't do that because you have to maintain the same level of course. But if you have some exceptional reasons why you want to do it, then obviously you have to apply for a new visa in order to switch your master's by research visa to diploma or lower level courses. So this is also important. Third thing is your health insurance. This is also a condition on your student visa that you must have a OSFC health insurance with you. And also there are some, like if you are changing your address, like moving state to state, but is studying in the same college, you have to update your address to the college or to the immigration. So these are some conditions on your student visa for subclass 500. There are some other conditions as well that you can see once you get a grant letter. The conditions will be mentioned there. You can check your visa condition on a website called Vivo from the government home affairs, so you can log in there and check your conditions there as well once you get the visa. Ninth part, applicant's immigration history. So that's also important. The immigration officer gonna see how many times you have applied for the visa in Australia or any other country, how many times it got approved or refused. Did you overstayed in any country? Okay, that also give you a bad impression. If you have good visa history, like you went to US, UAE, and other parts, and you have different kind of visas, the immigration gonna see that you follow the conditions on your student visa, and then you come back to your country on time before your student visa or any visa expired for that country. So that's also important. So to sum up, GT statement, also known as SOP, you have to show your academic background, your work background, why you want to study, what's the value of the course, and these kind of stuff. You have to prepare a good statement. And as I'm mentioning you again and again, Think Higher Consultants is here to help you out with this thing. We're going to guide you how to write the statement. We're going to guide you how to improve your statement. Once you provide us the statement, we're going to pick up the points and ask you to improve that. And then once it's final, full and final, then we're going to submit your statement for your admission purpose and the student visa process later on. So that's where we comes up for the students to help them. Yeah, moving next. Okay, so important points. So there are some recent changes in the visa conditions. So at the moment, the student visa holders in Australia are able to work full time, 40 hours per week or even more, even before the course commencement as well. So that's the good news for those who are already in Australia and those who wants to come to Australia or who already got the visa and now excited to come to Australia because the travel ban has been lifted from 21st of Feb. So more and more students gonna come to Australia now because now it's not restricted. Anyone can come here if they have a visa or if they have applied the visa and get the visa. But this rule may be reviewed in April 2022 after 2 months. or so the prime minister and then the different government agency, they're going to decide either to they extend the period of this relaxation of working hours, or just keep it till April and then come back to the same 20 hours per week or 40 hours fortnight requirement. Second important part is when going for the admissions and the courses, make sure you check the assessment level of that course, of that college, as well as the country. Think how we're going to help you out with this thing. We're going to check it for you and then apply your admission in the best way possible. So that's what we have for you guys today. So this is what this session for the student visa, how you're going to approach us. We have a ticker going on. You can see our email ID, phone number. Just call us, email us, go to our Facebook page, contact us through Facebook. You can also WhatsApp us, and then we're going to communicate with you, and then we're going to definitely help you out to have a smooth student visa process. Thank you guys for joining us. Take care. Bye.